Right, so hello everyone, it's Lisa today, and I've got our lovely charming guest Paul, who some of you may have met and seen before. He's a dab hand, so
Oh,
he's
yeah.
sort of easing me into this whole thing. So hello Paul, and thank you very much for agreeing to do this again with us.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone.
Hello. So then, we've got a few bits and pieces to talk about. I have made like a little list
Yeah.
to sort of help me. Um, and so I know usually on the chats there's a little sort of introduction. The guest would introduce themselves. I know you've been on a couple of times before, Paul, but if you would like to do another little brief one, so that anybody new can sort of understand where you're coming from and who you are and your interests.
No problem. Hi, everyone. My name's Paul James from Concert. I'm 38 years old and I have a learning disability due to Low's syndrome, which is a very rare syndrome that affects the main three parts of the body: the brain, which is the learning disability side of the syndrome, the eyes, where I was born blind, leaving me now visually impaired, and also the kidneys, which is high protein in the kidneys. The syndrome comes with other stuff as well. It's like the body's affected by laws other ways, but that's the main three organs that affects low
Mm-hmm.
syndrome.
So, Paul, obviously, this whole experience with that we all have been going through with COVID, that'll have had like an impact on you as well. Some of the sort of more physical side of things, won't it, with you being
Yeah,
shielded?
it did, yeah. So I was part of the shielding group.
Mhm.
So I was in from about middle March until like the 1st of August.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the and due to like how my bones are, my mobility, I couldn't really get out. So my days from all those months was in the house and just my backyard. So yeah, it was challenging at times, but I did work myself through it. It was good, and I gave myself challenges as well. So it had some good and bad. It's more good than bad.
Mhm.
So you know,
That's brilliant. I think that's really inspirational as well, Paul. The fact that you look to challenge yourself during this time, because of the
yeah,
fact that it's
yeah,
it's so easy that you get sucked into like a bit of a negative spiral, especially when everything seems to be falling apart. But the fact that you
mm,
have sort of set yourself challenges and risen to them, to make sure that that didn't happen for you. And I think we could all learn lessons from that, definitely. So what kind of challenges did you set yourself, and what did you overcome?
one of the big challenges was Chef Chef Paul's
Yes.
challenge, which the chicken pie was one of the big ones that people know of.
Mm-hmm.
But Chef Paul, just to give people a quick insight what Chef Paul was. It was an idea there. I thought that I would like to bake, I would like to cook,
Mm-hmm.
but how do I do it? Which other ways do I do that to make that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it'd be good to get the public involved in that. So to get me Twitter followers and people on Facebook to vote for the favourite dishes,
Mm-hmm.
giving people two choices each week.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was also asking people suggestions as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that really worked out well. That. I put a lot of weight on, so not good weight in that
Hey, I
respect.
think you're not the only one guilty of that, Paul.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was one of the things that I did through lockdown,
Mhm, mhm,
and I was wanting to like do something for people out there as well, and not just myself,
mhm, mhm,
because that was like the very early days of
mhm,
lockdown. That was when everyone was in lockdown, the
mhm,
national lockdown,
mhm, mhm.
and that went down really well actually.
That's brilliant. How many weeks roughly do you think that was over? Was how many dishes did you make?
I think my last one was it wasn't every week, but nearly every week.
Mhm,
My last one was July
mhm, mhm,
the 17th.
mhm, mhm. Brilliant, brilliant.
About five cooking
Mhm,
sessions. I
mhm.
think
That's brilliant. So did you cook live, Paul?
no, I wasn't that brave, but I did like show people the photos of the dish that I
Yes.
made at the end,
Oh,
which
that's
was good.
brilliant. We should need to we should need to invent smell-o-vision for stuff like that, don't we?
Yeah,
So we can get a proper, it's definitely the full
been good
experience.
for people that one.
So then, I think we set you a bit of a challenge as well, didn't we, with one of the courses that you attended. Um,
Yes, yeah,
and there was a few
yeah,
bits and pieces going on there, and you really,
yeah.
I loved the way that you engaged your positivity and how much you
Yeah.
encouraged your peers, and you just jumped in with both feet. It was absolutely brilliant. Um,
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. You no, thank you. It's always as a tutor, and it's. I'm sure any of us, all of us, will say this. When you get that positive engagement, it just makes it so much better. And as tutors, it makes us look for something else and something else and something else. So that's definitely what we need from anybody on any of our courses. That positive engagement's brilliant. So some of the things that we did on the course. It was all digital, wasn't it? It was all via Zoom and
Yes, it
stuff.
was.
Uh,
Was.
and sort of some of the team that you sort of on other courses with and other sort of things with, they were all there as well, weren't they?
Yeah,
And there was
yeah, it was. It was really good. There was one or two. We had like between all of us like different levels
mhm,
of knowledge of IT, but we had some people that didn't really know much of even to use like WhatsApp, for
mhm,
example.
mhm, mhm,
And so then not knowing how to use that, some of us were progressing into, well, all of us really, to make our own animation,
mhm, mhm,
making then our own diary,
mhm,
which was great to see people progress. Like each of us progress
mhm.
was great,
That's brilliant.
really good.
So whilst we're here and we're talking about some of the work that you did in the session,
Yeah.
bear with me because I'm going to start clicking and pressing some buttons because I'm going to
Okay.
show some of the animations that you made in the
Yeah.
course. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just bear with
Great.
me. Um, right, so what I'm currently showing, Paul, is
Mm-hmm.
we used an online free software and we used sort of some of the scenes in that and we selected
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
and or vehicles and things. So you selected a
Mm-hmm.
city scene and it was like a New York skyline really, and
Yeah.
then you put
Yeah.
the taxis in and then there was like an Indiana Jones guy sort of jumping over the
Yeah.
taxis and
Yeah.
stuff. So that was
Yeah.
really cool. So you've got like your vertical movement and you've also got your pace sort of going along with the traffic in the street. So that was like really, really cool. And I'm going to go onto, bear with me, because I need to click another screen here. The next one I'm showing is the stop animation that you did with your iPad.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah,
that was great, that one.
yeah. I mean, it was so good because you'd sort of planned it. Um, to, and I'm just showing it now, and I'm see if I can just get this on a loop. Repeat, yes. Okey-doke. Right, lovely. So this was about one of your other hobbies, bingo. And you'd had sort of one of those little sort of things that you'd made. It was like a smiley face where you sort of glue all the little
Yes.
things
Yeah.
together, and you'd had a little
Yeah.
bingo card from what you'd
Yeah.
won on a game on,
Mhm.
and you'd even
Yeah.
incorporated some text as well where you'd written
Yes.
bingo
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
end, and you had like other bits coming in and coming out. So that one sort of was just obviously about your, you know, your enjoyment because of this smiley face
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
And
So
that was my very first one. I remember what we go on the actual morning of the course. I was thinking, right, so what am I going to find in the space of a few minutes
mhm,
to do this animation?
mhm.
So I was hunting around my bedroom. I thought, use that sort of thing. So yeah, it was very good. That
Yes.
I've enjoyed all of them,
Mhm.
but I must admit that one there was one of my favourites.
Yeah, that's great. It's really great to hear because I think what we try to do is put something different into every session so that as many people as possible
Mm.
get things out of every session. Um, and it was a load of fun. I think that got like a 10 out of 10 pretty much from everyone, you know, because everybody enjoyed
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
And I think working it's about not being sort of too precious about the very first one that you do, and just
Oh
playing
no, not at all.
and just playing with how it works and things, you know. And I think you did another one where you were having a
Yeah,
pint,
yeah.
didn't you? And the pint going down. I haven't got that one at the minute, but yes, we
And
did.
funny enough, that was after the session
Uh-huh.
where I was outside in my backyard and I was drinking the pint and then took it there and took another drink. Then it was going down the side, it was going down the glass,
I know
you
you
know.
might have to make a few of those, Paul. Practice makes perfect.
It sound bad to be honest. I've got a few in
Ulterior
I've
motives.
got a few in the fridge.
Oh, you'll manage. You'll struggle on, I'm sure. So then another thing that we did was sort of, because obviously not everybody was wanting to do everything digitally. We did some sort of paper-based
Yeah,
bits
yeah,
and pieces, and I know I did some sort of mock-ups beforehand of so while we were working through them, and I'll just show some of
yeah.
these. What we did was, and this one's yours, your like reverse perspective picture, so
Oh
almost
yes,
like you're
yeah,
sort of in the
yeah,
room. So there was that
yeah,
one, and then one of the other guys was really interested in owls. So you'll have not seen these.
yes,
So
yeah,
that one was one of the ones for the guy that was interested in the owls. So it like sort of like
yeah,
suits you in there.
yeah,
And we did a one the other way up because somebody had a little puppy. Wait, not a puppy anymore. I don't
oh
know.
yes,
But
yeah, I
yes,
remember that
so
one.
it was that one was for Geordie. Oh, and Matthew was into his space stuff, so we had a bit of a
Yeah,
space-time continuum thing going on with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Lovely. So, you know, just sort of like trying to develop it so that many people, you know, as many people as possible found it fun, really. So,
it was.
so talking about sort of going back to what you were saying before about obviously having to be shielded and things like that. Now there's sort of this, you know, everything's open up again, and we need to sort of wear masks when we're out and about. But there are people that are exempt, and I think one of the things you mentioned to me is not just for that, but anybody with a hidden disability. Yeah. Oh, one of the cards that you mentioned, I thought that was really, really useful, and this was there. So I've just popped on the website for hidden disabilities, and this sort of and this has the sunflower card, Paul.
And it's a really useful scheme to go by because this is like the official. These are the people that invented the sunflower scheme, which is the sunflower yard. So the lanyard is the actual official, like the sunflower scheme, which was by the Hidden Disabilities scheme, and these sell badges to like that pop into that go on the end of the lanyard, which says you are exempt.
Yeah, so it obviously just says face covering exempt. So a card which indicates that you have a hidden disability and have a reasonable excuse
Yeah.
not to wear a face covering. So it's sort of important to sort of use it responsibly if you get it, you know, as well, isn't it? Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So then, I'm going to have a little look at the chat, Paul. So please bear with me while I find it. There we go. I found it, and just see if anybody's asking any questions. Sandra says, "Hi, Paul. Good luck." Need it with me.
Oh, hi, yes, Sandra.
Vicky says, I think when we challenge and push ourselves, it gives you a sense of pride and achievement when you reach that goal, which gives you more confidence to do more, which is lovely, isn't it? That is very right. Yes, definitely. And Charlotte agrees with Amelia, Vicky Amelia. And she says, sometimes it's really hard, but we all get there in the end. And I've achieved so much in these past few years. Thanks to my media savvy family. Oh, thanks ever so much. That's lovely, lovely. And Charlotte says, I feel the same. I've achieved so much more in the last 2 years and don't think I could ever do it without media savvy also. Oh, well, thank you very much, guys, because that really means, like, masses, absolute masses. It's just that's why, and that's, you know, that makes it all so worthwhile. That's lovely. Okie doke. So then, Paul, I'm going to just get your website up, because I discovered a couple of things when I was reading through it the other day, and we did have a little bit of a chat about it, and because it sort of like blew my mind a little bit how what you've been doing. I've just popped on the Explore 4x4 experience information that you did, and I'm just going to sort of highlight that there's a thing here for driving for the visually impaired. So then, going sort of back to you, how was that experience? When did you do it? Why did you do it? And you can tell everybody who the screaming cat is.
It was, so going back, well, it was actually for my 30th birthday. My PA at the time, my personal assistant for work at the time, bought me it for my first 30th. And we were going down to Nottingham, me and my mum and my PA, and I was wondering why my PA was coming at the time. And she told me the night before the experience what they were planning, what she bought me, because she said, listen, I'm not going to tell you much about it, but once we get there, if you're nervous at all, just say one can go back home. So I went in the car and went round to just test the gears and just test myself, because I haven't been behind the wheel before, so that was emotional to me. It was absolutely amazing, because I haven't been behind a wheel before, and the experience itself was just fantastic.
So, Paul, you know how you're saying that obviously you'd never driven before. So, was it a gear car or it was an automatic car or a manual?
It was geared, but on very like the lowest.
So, how did you sort of, considering you'd never done it before, and I'm just trying to sort of go back to when I very first started to
Yeah,
drive,
yeah.
but obviously I don't have a visual impairment, so you've got like a double whammy going on here. You've never driven before, and you have a visual
No,
impairment, and sort of even finding the gear stick and knowing where 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. It's like, how did you sort of cope
well,
with that?
this is it. And the at first the car did go a bit like zoof, like that, and a bit, a bit all over the place. But I had the instructor next to me was support. He used to support a lady who was visually impaired, so he wasn't just like a member of staff
Mhm,
who
mhm,
was employed to support people well going for those
mhm, mhm.
experiences. So he knew very much how to support me. He said, right foot there and then your left your hand there. But well, actually, I wasn't doing any of the gears. He did. So I just had
Oh, brilliant.
the to like push down on my foot to make
Yes.
it go.
Mhm, mhm,
And yeah, it was very good. He explained it extremely well,
mhm,
to
mhm.
be honest.
Yes. Oh, that's
Yeah.
excellent, excellent. So, did you have any passengers?
I had I had me PA at the time in the back,
Mhm.
and I had me mum in the back as well, who he called the strangled
On
cat.
the strike.
Apparently, she was gripping onto the seat like that at one point.
Oh,
But
brilliant.
you know, it was a great
Uh-huh.
experience for us. So
Oh,
you know,
brilliant. Do you know what your top speed was, Paul?
the what? Sorry,
What speed did you get up to in the car? Do you know that?
I'm not sure to be
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
honest.
Oh, that's
Not
fine. That's
sure.
fine. Oh, I think that's just
Yeah,
brilliant.
it was really good.
Mhm.
I'm glad I've got the video to show
Yes.
that
Uh-huh.
I've done that as
Yeah.
well.
So you said it's about a half an hour the video. So is that sort of like the whole sort of experience? Did it last a half an hour, or is that sort of cut down a little bit?
Yeah, that was really cut down the
Mhm.
video
Mhm.
because he spent a long time
Mhm.
explaining to me
Mhm.
how the actually like car works and what to do, and when we went round the track, the flat test track
Mhm.
quite a lot of
Mhm.
times,
Mhm.
you know.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, you joke. I just think that's just so cool. I want to go. I definitely want to go. Of the off-roady sort of stuff. Cool. Cool. Right. I'm just going to go back to your website again because I know that was one of your achievements, but there's a lot of other achievements that you've had. So I'm going to go back to the about guests. So here's Paul's website. For those of you who haven't sort of heard about it or seen it before, it's called livingwithlaws.com, and you can find out about Paul, about him, about how he lives with laws. Because I know you've mentioned before, Paul, that the reason that you started this is to sort of help other people who have the syndrome, sort of see how much of a full life that you can live with the syndrome. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. It was for that. It was to show that, um, like people with learning disabilities can achieve and should achieve and have the same life opportunities in life as everyone else. And as far as the Lowe's syndrome side of it,
Mhm.
to show that there is positive side to low syndrome. So it
Absolutely.
was on like a few levels why I chose it, but it, yeah, seems to be the message seems to be getting out there very well.
I think that's great. I think how proactive you are in doing that sort of speaks volumes as well. You know, like as you say, it's on many levels that you're reasoning behind this, and I think that proactivity sort of does speak volumes. I'm just going to try something and sit. Oh, I don't know whether I dare. No, I won't. I was going to try and get us both everything on the screen at the same time, but we've had that many problems. I haven't done it before. I don't think I'll bother. So some of the things that you have been doing,
Yeah,
Paul, and that resounded quite a lot with me, was all of the fundraising that you do, your charity work.
yeah.
I think it's just absolutely brilliant, how much you
Oh,
do.
thank you.
Yeah, and it's not just you do it for sort of various charities as well, don't you? You've done one for the guide dogs,
I
obviously with low
do. Yeah,
syndrome. Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that's brilliant. So you do like a challenge.
I
So
do.
to raise money
Yeah,
as
I
well.
certainly do. I'm up for new challenges.
I love it. I love it, and I love your sense of humour as well. Just resounds so much through your website. You can definitely
I
hear.
have to put my sense of
Yeah,
humour in.
I can hear you
Yeah, I
speaking when
do.
I read it. I do. I can. I can. um, so one of the things I was going to ask you was, do you have any future challenges in mind? What would be the next thing that you'd like to do?
Possibly. That's all I'm seeing for that one. But yeah,
Secrets.
yeah, possibly.
Secrets.
I don't know about how fundraising will go because obviously with the situation that we're in at the moment.
Mhm.
But I do have some ideas on what I would like to put on the website and different things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I do,
Brilliant.
yeah, some
So
ideas.
there's some things going on in the background. Yeah.
There is. I'm always thinking of stuff on any new things to do and then how to progress it, and yeah,
Yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, I found as well on your website is Chef Paul's
yeah.
challenge your birthday cake and your chicken pie.
Oh, yes, the cake topper was I got for me birthday, and that was really, I mean, it's brilliant.
It is.
I got the same lady who done me bingo cake,
All right.
and the topper, everything on that cake topper explain has got a bit of what happened during the challenges or after the
Yeah.
challenges.
Yes.
It's got me holding a cheeseburger because
Mhm.
those that know me would tell you that my favourite food's burgers.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely ridiculous for burgers.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with having a passion for food. I'm telling you,
No,
I'm half
no.
Italian. I can tell you.
The
Brilliant.
the Deserano bottle on the
Yes.
side on
Yes.
one
Oh,
of
we
the
see it
side.
here. Yes. Yeah.
Actually, that started because I went in my fridge and for some reason I came across this little miniature bottle of Deserano.
Mhm.
So I thought after me cooking, I'll try that in me coffee,
Mhm.
and it was lovely. So each each thing on that topper tells a story.
Stories. So we've got some. Are they the bingo balls as well?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And your bingo thing. So is that a cider on the other side of you? I wonder. And then you've got a cuppa there, and you've got something near your foot, and you've got your
yeah,
spatula in your hand. Brilliant.
yeah,
And if I'm just going to scroll down and show some of these. other meals that you've done from your challenge, and I'm really intrigued about the gin and tonic drizzle cake. That looks
Oh,
fantastic, absolutely
that was
fantastic.
absolutely amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and your korma. I mean, I like a spicy, but your breads and everything in the dish it looks lovely, Paul. Well done,
Yes. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, you're keeping these next challenges a secret. Um,
I am, yeah. Haven't
mhm,
set them myself yet, but I've got a few ideas.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
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 I'm just going to have another little look and see if there's anything else in the chat. Um, so Charlotte is saying that she didn't know about the sunflower thing before, and she thinks it's a really good idea, and would encourage more to be more aware, to help people be more aware of
Mm.
who have hidden disabilities. Um, and she's asking, with the sunflower card, is it just for mask exemptions or other types of difficulties than other invisible disability people have?
So the lanyard itself,
Mhm.
without the thing for the badge,
Mhm.
you put it round your neck,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
if you were to go shopping or travelling,
Mhm.
that tells that member of staff in public, even though it's not well known yet, that you have a hidden disability, so you could be hard of hearing,
Mhm.
so you may need extra help, or
Mhm.
you could be
Mhm.
visually impaired where you need extra help,
Mhm. Mhm.
and or just other little things like that. But so that badge that you put on the end of it is telling people more or less
Right.
that's the reason
That's
why you're not wanting to wear,
yes.
why you're
So
exempt.
yes.
Yeah, for
Um.
those reasons.
Mhm.
And yeah, Charlotte's right. The reason why she probably like hasn't heard of it before is because in my opinion it's not really out there much,
Mhm. Mhm.
the scheme.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that I'm wanting to somehow put on my website. I'm wanting to create a page about the sunflower scheme. So that was one of my ideas.
Mhm. Mhm. I think it's just so useful, um, because as you say, it's not just about like not having to wear the mask. There are other things. So the lanyard itself is letting people know that there is
Yes.
something to sort of inquire about. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I've just popped the link for that website into the chat there if anybody wants to
Okay.
click it and
Great.
have a little look through. And so
Yeah.
it's how to be supported, where it's recognised, and even airports sort of not, because sometimes airports can be quite intimidating anyway. Never mind with all of this going on.
Mm.
So it might be
Yeah.
useful for anybody who sort of needs to is going away or thinking about it or
Yeah. Definitely.
being put
Yeah.
off by it as
Definitely.
well. So if you've got this, it is something that you can use to get that support. Lovely. Okay. Amelia's asking what day the level 2 will be on and what date does it start. So I'm just about to start scheduling in another course. So anybody who is interested, you can email me. I'll pop my email address in. And the short answer is, Amelia, um, if you can email me like the days where you aren't available, or let me know the dates you aren't available, and I'll see what I can do, because I haven't scheduled it yet. So don't worry, I want to get you in on that. So I'll be flexible. Right, is that the right address? So there's my email address if anybody needs to email me for anything like that for the new courses. So then, one of the things you mentioned to me was a while ago, Paul, was the differences between like, you know, when you were just starting to come out of lockdown, and I think a lot of us are having a bit more and more experience about that, and how sort of I know my mother had been shielded as well, and she'd said how she felt like quite emotional just going into the town centre, because it was sort of like, you know, like you're coming out of this little sort of cocoon, really. And I know you mentioned sort of some of the things that had happened to you, and I'd got to feed you the line with your footwear. How you sort of said that it was a little bit because you'd lived in slippers.
I know. I don't know quite to start this off, because I was in lockdown from, well, obviously when lockdown was announced, so that was about middle March, and from then until August, I was all I was in slippers all the time, or sandals.
Mhm.
So putting a pair of shoes on after that time felt strange.
Yeah, I bet.
It felt like it was a new kind of footwear that's just been introduced. It was weird, you know.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I can totally understand the
Mhm.
emotional side of people, like how people feel when they go out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because after I went out for my first time, I got in the car and I did actually physically feel like I was about to burst in
Mhm.
tears.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because, and it's hard to explain why I felt emotional.
Mhm.
It just was a very strange
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah,
Very strange.
I think that's happened to a lot of people, and I think it's good to know that it does happen because it's normal. You know what I mean? There's nothing to be sort of like,
It is,
what's going
and
on here. It's normal because these are just such unusual
yeah,
sort of times. So yeah, you know.
and if people are thinking, well, I shouldn't be feeling strange or I shouldn't be feeling emotional because I've been to this place before.
Mhm.
I've been to that place umpteen times. So it just, it doesn't matter if you know the place, if you go there nearly every day or if you haven't been there before. It's not being out for that length of time,
That's
you know.
it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Great advice, Paul. Definitely. Thank you. The other thing, like another bit of news about you, during the course that you did with me, you gained a new role, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. I was successively elected on Learning Disability England rep body,
Mhm. That's.
which is excellent to
Mhm.
be
Mhm.
elected on that. I was
Mhm.
elected by members of Learning Disability
Mhm.
England.
Yes. Yes. That's just amazing, really.
It
So
is, it's a
have you had a
real
chance to
privilege.
sort of get? Oh, sorry, I think I've moved the screen up. I think. Right, I've sorted. Um, so Paul, have you had a chance for a chat yet with them, or is it still just very early days?
No, we I had my like official meeting a few months ago,
Mhm. Mhm.
and, and we do have meetings through Zoom now and then
Mhm.
if something comes up within the
Mhm.
organisation
Mhm.
that the rep body needs to decide
Mhm.
on,
Mhm.
and anything else comes through emails as well. And so yeah, it's a working active job role that's still working, even though like June, like the pandemic,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's obviously it's a national body as well. It's
it
not just a local
is.
body;
Yeah,
it's a national body, which is that's
it
brilliant.
is.
So
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
to be voted for nationally to be part of something's incredible, Paul.
It's brilliant,
It is.
yeah. You know, when they told me the news, I got emotional then
Oh, I
as
bet.
well.
Yeah.
It's privilege to be on the board.
Brilliant. And the other thing I think, well, what it does, obviously, I've just got the screen up now, and it
Yeah,
says like what we do. It says Learning Disability England is a charity and membership organisation working to make life better for people with learning disabilities and their families.
yes.
And that ties in really nicely with your going back to your website.
Hmm.
Where are we? And I think it was at the bottom of your achievements page, isn't it? Inclusion, sort of, you know, the importance of inclusion for everyone and everybody's right to
Yeah, yeah.
have an opportunity, you know, to do everything that anybody else can do, and that's just is super important. So you're definitely a champion, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
Champion of many things, definitely. So, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about today, Paul?
No, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Just thank you again
Oh no,
for
thank you
letting
for
me, you know, be on.
yeah, and thank
Yeah,
you for being my little guinea pig for my first go.
no
I
problem.
really appreciate it. Yeah, and we did. It was. It. I always find it really quite emotional at the end of any course that it does come to the end, and that's like, equally the same with your group when when it had to come to an end. So it's nice to have sort of been in touch with a few of you since then, and like little chats that we've had. So that's great. Thank you.
Couldn't believe how quick the weeks went. Actually,
I know.
it shot by.
Yeah, yeah.
Did it was a really good course,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I can see it for like all of us that on our group we loved it. You know, yeah,
Well, I
we
do
really
think
did.
I think it was you that made the group. Oh, it was all right, sort of asking what you wanted to do and sort of trying to put it together. But you guys made the group. Now then, I've cocked this up a little bit. I've got. I think I've minimised the screen when I shouldn't have done. So Haytham's going to tell me off. Yeah, there we are again. Right. There. Okey-doke. So I'm going to try and find the screen as well for the help that we have. The mental health support for anybody to access should they need to during this time or any other time. Try and get her on. I've obviously done something else again. I'll go back to about guest. No, it's not working. I think I need Haytham again. 2 minutes, everyone. Sorry. Please, Daniel, help me save the day. I'm trying to get that obviously in there on the for the end. Yeah.
Screen you at the end of the screen.
Yeah. So I think if we go back to work, if we turn work on, but it's not showing the work. It's showing. Oh, that's another screen off.
Which do you have this window capture? Oh, okay. Oh.
I just put. I think I might be able to if I put that into there, and then go into here. Yeah, I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh yeah, you're fine. We needed some interval music there.
We
That
did, didn't we? Oh, there's you at work, Paul. I've got that there. Come on.
Is it in that folder?
God, yeah.
Are you looking? I hope I'm gonna have enough.
We need some more interval music, Paul. I think you need to sing. We've got your animation on now.
Where's this folder? Is it just in?
Well, you had it. Hatham had that there, so that should be sort of if you go into here, into the photos, and then sort of click onto that one.
You didn't have it on a separate screen.
No.
I could get it up onto here. We would have to open up another window.
Yeah.
Do you ready?
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, whatever's quick.
Hold on, I'm
Sorry
just gonna
about this cock up at the end there, Paul, and everyone else.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. You've done a good job. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'll just have a look at the chat, and then I can talk about the chat while you're doing that. Thanks, Amelia and Andy. See you later. They're saying that they had to pop out, so see everyone next time. Okay, and that's it. That's what we've had so far. So I'm just about to put you out your misery, Paul. Actually, I think that's the fairest thing to do. There you go.
Oh no, you're fine.
Thanks so much, Dan.
You're fine. Don't worry. Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is I'm showing everybody the information on there of any sort of support organisations that anybody would like and or need any support from. And I'm just going to say thank you very much, Paul, again, and hopefully I'll have learnt a few things today in today's session, so I could get it a little bit smoother at the end for next session.
Oh, you're fine. Just to quickly say as well, for if anyone on the chat wants to visit my website, feel free, or to sign the guest
sign
book.
your guest book.
Well.
Yes, so I'll pop your website name in. It's Living with Laws, isn't it?
Yeah.com. And that's a new feature that's been on not so long, the guest book.
I was reading through it the other day, Paul. There's some absolutely lovely testimonials there from people and advice.
There is.
And
There's some really nice messages people have put.
The support and how how having that website has supported them. You know, having your website to go to. That's been really lovely. Okay. Well, that's it, everyone. I'm just going to end the stream and somehow, and I'm going to say thank you very much and goodbye to you, Paul.
Okay, thanks very much, everyone.
You're welcome. See you
Thanks,
later.
Lisa.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.